Hello, everyone, and welcome to Invisible Not Broken. Today I get to talk to one of my favorite cousins about his type 1 diabetes. Listen to how his diagnosis the second week into college altered his experience, as you can imagine. Some very interesting diabetes life hacks, what it's like to be a father, husband, and worker while, as he says, being reliant on a AAA battery. Oh, yeah, and swearing, it might just be a family trait. So I have two things to talk about before we get into the interview. We discuss medical issues here on the show. We are not giving medical advice, especially in this episode, so please talk to your doctor first if you hear something that you want to try. Now, here's my second thing. You might notice in this episode, I talk a lot faster and giggle a lot more. If you listen closely, you will hear the point where my hip dislocates. Just a warning, I get a little, just say manic when I'm in pain. I hope you'll be as kind and patient with me as my cousin was. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll get right into it now. All right, so when did you actually get diagnosed, and what do you have?
So, 21 years ago, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Second week, first quarter at college, through an NCAA sports physical.
No way. I thought you had been diagnosed earlier.
Nope.
I thought you were like a kid.
I was 19.
Oh my
19
God.
years old. Second week of college. And I found out.
That's not fair. Okay, so before I explain why this is no fair...
That's why I said it was no fair.
Why don't you explain exactly what you can't do when you have type 1 diabetes? Or what you're not supposed to do, because I know stories about you.
So they said... It's probably better to say how I found out.
Okay, tell us how you found out.
I found out from the NCAA sports physical. And so the doctor called me in from the college. The college doctor called me in. And the college doctor said he was playing mind games, which really pissed the shit out of me. I had 2 water bottles with me, and the doctor goes, "So why do you have all the water bottles?" I was like, "Because I'm still running 5-6 miles a day."
No, what was the sport you were playing?
I was trying out for the track team.
Okay.
At college. And so the doctor said, "You're still running 5-6 miles a day?" I go, "Yeah. What's the problem?" And he said, "You're diabetic. You should be in the hospital right now. You shouldn't be able to run.
Okay.
You need to go home now and get this taken care of. Or admit yourself to the hospital."
At least
That's
they give you a
how
choice.
I found out.
So which choice did you take? Did you go to the hospital?
I called up Dad, and Dad had gotten off of a 12-hour day from Ukiah and then drove from Ukiah back to Cal Poly to pick me up and then take me back home.
Okay. So did you have to take its time off of school, or?
Yeah, I was gone for a week from school. Got it under control with shots, and then went back to school.
All right, so I'm going to back up a little bit. Did this explain anything? Like, did you have any sort of symptoms when you were a kid growing up? Or?
Nope.
So this was just left field?
Yep, all left field.
Fuck. So were you still able to continue with track after you got this under control, or did you have to stop track?
No, I kept training.
Okay.
Or trying out. I was trying to walk onto the sports team, but I didn't make it, but at least it gave me something to do and something to at least try and do my workouts. On the when you asked about symptoms, yeah, there was probably symptoms that a guy is not going to acknowledge.
Okay, now back this up. So what kind of things don't you acknowledge as a guy?
So, having to get up and go pee frequently.
So a guy who's not in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah, 50s or 60s, but you gotta go up and just take a piss, every 2 hours.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad. I didn't think anything of it. And then, hindsight being 2020, by the time I was diagnosed, I was about 145 pounds, 6'2".
Jeez! All right, streaming.
And then...
I get to say this, I'm his cousin.
But when I graduated high school, 3 months earlier, I was 160 pounds.
Wow.
So my body was eating all the lean muscle mass.
So I was like, so you should have been, there's no way you should have been able to run 5 miles.
Yeah.
You were just running on reserves.
Yeah, I was.
Stupid.
My body was eating itself alive.
Okay. And so with this diagnosis, I know you had to take a week off and get a whole bunch of shots.
Mm-hmm.
What else were you supposed to be doing daily as a new college student, fresh away from parents, to take care of yourself that I'm guessing by that look on your face you didn't do?
Well, I think I was given a regiment of like 3 shots a day.
Jeez. So
and the doctor
you have
said,
to like keep that on you all the time through all your classes?
Yeah. So I had to have my shots and my insulin, and I think the doctor said no alcohol at all.
Yeah. And how well did you listen to that your first year of college?
I actually listened really well. I didn't drink until I was 23.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then and they said, just, take your finger sticks and test your blood sugar and, call us and we'll adjust.
And is type 1 diabetes, is that genetic, or do you know whether this is just luck of the pure draw for you, or is there other people in your family? Luck of the pure draw,
because I don't think it's in any of our family.
Yeah, no, I mean, because we're cousins.
It's not on our side of the family.
No.
It's not on my mom's side of the family. I think I learned later that, Dad's Uncle Jim.
Yeah.
Or your mom's uncle.
Yeah.
Had type 2 or something.
I'd heard that it's type 2.
Yeah.
So you and I are the freaks of the family who get these really weird genetic disorders that don't actually go back into our family. Lucky us! We're the awesome ones. We are so cool.
Exactly.
We're the cool cousins. Sorry to any other cousins listening, that's what we really are. So you had to take the shots 3 times a day. How did that affect did it affect your social life or your school life, or was that just something you...
I think I just dealt with it.
Okay.
So I didn't go to any of the parties. I wouldn't go to the
Do you think you would have gone to the frat parties if you...
Yeah. I would have gone, but...
So this actually kept you out of trouble.
So I didn't go because I knew it would put me in a situation where I'd do something I shouldn't do.
Okay, so you're way smarter. Got it.
Well,
so this
you just did what you had to do.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
And you probably got more study time in.
Well, I had more study time or riding my bicycle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And was there different food things you had to do? I'm sure, like avoiding sugar, yeah or no? Or am I just totally
supposed to avoid
uninformed?
the sugar, but I don't.
Yeah, well, you can only be so good.
Exactly.
So did this affect, like, anything with making friends? Did you feel like you needed to tell them or not tell them?
So my roommate, I told my roommate, and I think other people found out, but nobody really gets it.
What don't they get?
So, even your close friends or somebody else, they don't really understand what you're going through when you're... So other than that, so if you take me now, 40 years old, I guess.
Yep, we're the same age.
The only thing somebody sees is just the tube coming out of my side.
Okay, so a quick explanation for everyone to hear. You have an insulin pump now.
Yeah.
And
so I've had that for 19 years.
That long?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember when you got it, and I don't remember it being that long ago.
Yeah.
So that means you don't have to have the shots every day.
Yeah, so I don't have the shots every day, except now I only have this very short-acting insulin that only works, it works immediately. It doesn't work over long periods of time.
What does that mean for you?
So it means I gotta constantly have that pump on.
Okay.
Or I need to supplement with shots.
And what does that do for your energy level or your ability to focus?
Well, so if it's regulated, everything's fine. If the blood sugar gets low, i.e. I've taken maybe more insulin than I should have. Mm-hmm. Or if I've exercised too much, which was a problem at school.
Okay.
My blood sugar will go down, and then I'll have an inability to focus, an inability to think, an inability to, really concentrate on stuff.
And what do you have to do to get that back?
Eat.
Okay.
Or drink soda.
Oh, that sounds horrible. I would have been so jealous if we had that as kids. I would have been like, why does he get grandma's root beer and not me?
Exactly. So, but the hard part is just the cycle of high blood sugar versus low blood sugar, and if it gets out of normal, it starts to go high, and then you feel really crappy, and you try and take insulin to bring it down, and then it goes too low, and then you try and bring it back up, and it's a vicious cycle of
wow,
up and down.
So, like, with my disorder, it's certain things will work and then suddenly not work. Do you have the same thing with insulin? Is it always just this one thing will do it, this dose, or is it always a...
It's always changing. So it changes for me, it seems to change by the season.
Okay.
So
wow.
Different, summer versus winter.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's the amount of energy one's outputting, the amount of activity one's doing, but it affects me.
All right. Do you think it might have something to do with the heat, or is it?
I don't know. I haven't tried to figure it out.
Okay, that's fair. You have a lot to focus on, to be absolutely fair with this.
So try to keep your wife happy, your 2 kids happy, and you go, well, I'm not going to worry about tracking what I eat.
We'll get to that soon. I want to go back to when it just seems so wild that you went through your whole childhood, your teens, your high school, and then all of a sudden 1 week into college, it's you have
this fucked.
Yes, but not in the fun way that most people experience their first week in college. That's crazy to suddenly be because what you have is dangerous if you don't pay attention to it. That's a nice little lesson in mortality. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so how did this work with you told your roommate? What was your roommate cool dude, whatever, or at least they knew how to make you better?
He'd help keep an eye on me too.
Okay. How did your parents react to this? I'm so curious.
I don't remember.
Your mom doesn't worry the way my mom worries about things.
I think Mom cried.
Yeah?
I think Dad was just we'll work through this.
Okay.
But I don't think either one of them maybe really knew all that much about what it meant. I don't know.
Yeah. That's strange. And how did it work out with dating life in college? Were you able... Did you tell people right away, or this is on my mind because we just did the sex, everything you wanted to know about relationships. I'm not going to ask you any deeply personal questions. Too much family stuff.
I don't know. I think I was more guarded about what I was eating, what I could do, what I couldn't do, trying to take care of myself. So I really limited, what I did.
Okay. So
I was more of a, I'm more, introvert when I was in college, I guess.
Yeah?
So I just sort of did my own thing. And
what would make you decide to tell someone?
I think if I was, certainly if I was taking needles and shots, people would need to know. And then,
so at least so they don't think you have a drug problem.
Yeah, exactly. But you try and let them know, but then they still don't really. It's here's what it is, and this is what I'm doing, and this is why I'm taking a shot.
Okay. And did that cause any barriers, or did people just shrug it off and go whatever?
I think most people just shrugged it off. Go whatever.
And, okay, so I'm just curious, because I have 2 minds of this, and I never know which one I'm okay with. Sometimes I'm really appreciative when someone's oh, okay, whatever, I'm not going to treat you any differently. And sometimes I'm hey, this is a huge part of my life.
Yeah. Well, I think it, at the time you don't want to be treated differently.
Yeah, 19 is different.
You don't want to have something that's limiting what you can do. You don't want to have people think of you differently. So you probably hit it. I don't know. I don't remember.
It was a while ago, to be fair.
A long time ago.
All right, so we'll fast forward then a little bit. How does this affect your daily life? What is your everyday life like with the pump? And since you're not tracking what you're eating, so bad diabetic.
Not as well as I should be. Well, the doctors think that it should be really easy to track. Mm-hmm. Because they're a bunch of, asses.
Yeah. Everything should be so much easier.
It should be easy.
Yeah, especially with all those apps out there. That should make it super simple.
Should make everything simple. A lying sacks of shit.
Nah.
But, I don't know. With the pump, you're supposed to do, it'd be a lot better if I tracked what I ate better.
Okay.
So I could dial it in better.
So, everyday life with the pump, what does that require as far as maintenance?
Mostly you got to change your insulin set every 3 days.
And what does that look like? Because I am so curious. Is it a J tube? It goes in,
no,
or
it's just a. It's like a.
Oh, see, he's showing me this, and I can't show you. Oh, that's really cool.
This
looks like a monitor.
insert.
Okay, so do you have to do anything with the insert, or is it just
so
changing
that it moves?
That's so neat.
So you can see all the scar tissue on my side.
Oh, I wish I could photograph this for everyone, but it's really cool. I've never seen one before.
So that's why I've got, the big glove handle around here, because it's all scar tissue.
Oh, okay. But see, my husband calls it his protective layer for his Tatum Channing abs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So you drink beer to keep this all safe.
Exactly.
Very good.
But then, you're, on your down days, you look at it as, I'm reliant on a AAA battery.
Ah, that's... I'll go into my dad's world. How does that make you feel?
It makes you feel pretty bad.
Yeah, if that battery doesn't work out, is it possible that it, floods the system with insulin, or doesn't give you the insulin you need?
It'll stop giving you insulin.
Okay.
So if you run out of insulin, if you don't have a battery, it's just some of those things you got to make sure you have with you.
You always have a battery with you.
Yeah.
That
Which you don't.
Energizer bunny sounds really great.
Yeah. So, but it sort of sucks.
Okay.
If you want to go do whitewater rafting, which I did, which I do a lot with a bunch of friends from work, you just take it off all day long and take some insulin and just try and gauge it the best you could.
Okay.
Because it's not waterproof.
The things that you don't think about, until someone lives it, I would never consider, is that waterproof or not?
So we went houseboating, and then it's not waterproof, so I got to take it off, right?
Yeah.
So you try and dose up a little bit so that you can sit there and just drink and float.
All right, so I have to ask this because I hate needles. What was it like the first time you had to give yourself insulin?
I don't remember.
No?
It's not that bad now. It's just another needle.
Well, you get used to stuff like that, but I've never had to give myself an injection. I'm just so used to, everyone else just sticking needles in me like a voodoo doll that I can't imagine being able to...
I think the doctor did it the first time, and then I had to do it, and then it was just the way it is.
You're very good at the way it is. Your chill factor is pretty impressive.
Well, life could be worse.
That is absolutely true and fair. It could also be better.
It could be a lot better.
So, how do you work this with your kids? You have two littles,
Well, they just know not to touch daddy's stuff.
Okay.
And they just see, I think Sophia sees you got to prick the finger, and she goes, "You got to test your blood. Is your blood okay?"
Oh, she is very cute.
Austin, he doesn't care one way or the other. He's more interested in his trucks.
Yeah, well, he's still tiny.
He's only 5.
So have you explained it to them about...
No, I don't. I haven't tried to explain it to them.
All right.
It's not enough for them to understand right now.
Yeah, I guess
in my opinion.
No, that's fair. I'm always curious how parents who have chronic illness decide or don't decide to talk to the kids. And, no judgment. I have zero filter on my brain or my mouth, so anything that's going on my kids know about, but I don't know if that's right either. I guess we'll both know, and we can tally up their therapy bills at the end and see who...
Yeah. Hopefully it's not too bad.
Hopefully the therapy bills aren't too bad.
Exactly.
So when you met your wife, who is awesome, how long did it take you to tell her? Or did you tell her right away, or did she know? Were you guys friends? I actually don't know how you guys met.
We met at college, briefly. Only because as she likes to tell the story, I would, go over to see, her friend who was in my classes so that I could pass the class.
Ah.
Copy home.
Such an ethical guy you are.
Hey. But no, we, met back in Sacramento, and, it was a friend's birthday, and, just started seeing each other from after one of her friend's birthdays.
And did this affect your dating world, or was it just a non sequitur?
It's not any big deal, just something that's there.
That's impressive. So what is it you would like people to know about your world, your life? What would make it easier for you? What things are on the horizon with science that you're looking forward to?
Man, it'd be nice not to have to wear the stupid pump.
Right?
That or something, I guess I'm lucky because I've got good insurance, but I can't fathom
anyone who
pay for this stuff.
So we actually have
without insurance.
We have listeners all over the world, and we live here in the United States. And if you don't have a job that gives you insurance, this gets expensive. Even if you do have a job with insurance, does yours cover everything? Because mine doesn't cover everything.
It covers like 80+%.
Okay.
But it's not cheap.
No. So,
so I go
do you want to lay out what the expense is?
I go through 9 vials of insulin every, 3 vials of insulin a month.
Yeah.
And I think I see the retail cost is the drug companies will say it's a retail cost of $200 a vial.
Oh my God. Yes.
And then the insulin pump, that's a quick $5-6 grand. And then there's the supplies that go with it, and that's a quick. I want to say it was somewhere around, all said and done between the insulin pump supplies and test strips, and it's about $4 grand a quarter every 3 months.
So about $12,000 a year.
Probably.
Yeah, so if you don't have insurance,
if you don't have insurance to break down that price.
Yeah, and this is obviously a luxury. This is such a luxury. I mean, you're really just spending money for fun.
I'm spending money for fun so that I can just enjoy this.
lovely insulin pump. Oh my God! And so you get 80% of that covered, but that's still a sizable chunk.
Yeah, so it's not. That's what sort of. Well, I'm just lucky. I have the ability to pay for it, but I can't fathom what people do who can't.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, do you just end up at the ER all the time with...
Well, that's what I hear people do, right?
It's so frustrating.
Yeah. So, but just do what you gotta do, I guess, right?
I don't know what the other choice is. I mean, especially for you, I could just, decide to become modern sculpture and just stand still with, new Halloween costumes, but... You don't live without this. This isn't... There's no option here.
No, there's no option. So you have good days and you got your bad days. And sometimes the bad days just sort of suck.
So what are bad days like? What happens?
Well, it's just sort of just depressed. Just sort of why me?
Oh, I like those days. Those are fun.
Why did I get cursed with this?
Yeah.
That kind of attitude.
Well, we come from a very long line of super healthy people, which makes our conditions really amusing.
Yeah. So it just sort of sucks. Other days you just keep going. Oh, well.
Yeah. So
you sort of ignore it some days. Some days, just sort of... so I've been known to forget supplies at home.
Oops.
So, I go, oh, shit. I gotta go home now. Sometimes you just forget about it.
Yeah? You're able to forget about it?
Yeah, it becomes so routine.
I think you need to write a book on how to, handle chronic illness, because you're, the most chill human being about it.
I wonder what Patty would say about that.
Writing a book? I bet you...
No, about being the chill person about it.
Well, I'm interviewing Patty next, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
well, there you go.
She'll have a few things to say. I was actually hoping to interview you two together.
But... Yeah, it just sort of sucks. I'm waiting for, the artificial pancreas that's making the insulin and get rid of the pump and be done with it.
I was reading about that. There's some, really cool stuff on the horizon.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, you're...
Hopefully the FDA can get out of their heads out of their asses and actually make progress.
I just don't understand the FDA's ability to pass through things they haven't tested and then hold up stuff that's, right on the verge of being okay.
Yeah.
As your disorder, there's huge foundations for diabetes, and there's a lot of research that goes in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little jealous, actually.
It's a ton of money.
Yeah, there's no, the one I have is, so rare that there's no money that goes into the...
Well, I think when I was initially looking it up, and, at the time it was the diabetes was the number 4 killer in the nation in terms of diseases.
Yeah, does that take into account...
And that's accounting for,
Type 2? Or just type 1?
The thing is, between the two of them, it didn't matter.
Oh, okay.
But it's, it's the disease, but then it's all the complications that go with it.
So what are some of the complications?
I.e., heart problems, weight problems, and just everything else that goes with it.
Okay.
If you're not managing your diet well enough.
So
if you're not,
for the people who
doing this, if you're not taking care of yourself,
So break down, like, best and worst case scenarios. Like, what are some of the things that could happen if you aren't taking care of yourself, like tracking your food and...
I guess, I think, what the doctors used to use their scare tactics of, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to get your limbs amputated. If you don't take care of yourself, your hair is going to fall out. You don't take care of yourself, you're going to, this or that. And I guess it's true. There are amputations due to complications because of this.
Yeah.
And then there's neuropathy.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
Where you haven't
had that one yet, have you?
I did have symptoms of neuropathy I don't know, maybe 19 years ago.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. So, I was able to go away, but yeah, it was weird.
Do you think there's anything that could have made it easier for you when you were 19, if you can think back that far? Like, what would you tell someone who's just gotten, like, a big diagnosis?
Don't listen to take what the doctor says for a grain of salt.
Okay, except, telling you to take your medication and keep it on you.
Life isn't all that bad. Life, you can work through it.
Ow. Sorry.
And you just need to give yourself the time to do it.
What do you think the time to do it would look like? Like, what does that look like when you're trying to get your brain around a diagnosis? Is it, like, researching it? Is it...
I think, I'm researching it, and, if I were better at, like, tracking my food and stuff, I'd actually be tracking, how much I eat, what I'm eating, how many carbs, how many grams of this.
It sounds like dieting.
It is. That's what this would be, because then you're trying to track it against how much insulin you got to take. It would be really helpful.
So what
if I would do it.
What keeps you from doing it?
Time.
Yeah.
Work doesn't, it's not like they go, okay, yeah, great, you have a disease. You can, why don't you take an extra hour or two off each day so that you can manage your disease?
So I'm a bad family member. I don't know what you do.
Neither do I, so.
Oh, okay. Wow, so good employee.
Well, I'm a consultant. I'm an engineering consultant. I do remediation of military facilities and refineries, industrial facilities.
That's kind of cool.
And then military design work, too. So sometimes I got to travel, sometimes I'm not. I've been spending several years in the Bay Area for refinery work, too. So there's a lot of travel and there's a lot of stagnant time. That doesn't help being diabetic, because the more time you're not exercising, or at least not moving around, you're just sitting there not doing much.
So if you were going to be a very good diabetic patient, how much time would that take to, like, do everything you're supposed to be doing to...
I don't know.
...keep optimal health? You'd have to, like, write down everything you eat and...
Yeah, you need to be writing down what you eat, tracking it, and... and if I were really good, it would be like, I guess I'd want to compare it to a marathoner or a triathlete or somebody that's, how many cups of this am I eating? How many quarter cups of rice, or how much does this apple weigh? How many grams?
See, for that, you go ballerina.
Okay, well, maybe that too.
That's where you get really obsessive.
But it would be this... maybe it gets easier after you do it for a while, but...
I did it for 20 years. It was never fun or easy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But not working would help.
Independent wealth would be...
Independent wealth would be
absolutely.
Would make it a lot easier.
Always.
So... But I'm not independently wealthy yet, so...
Not yet. Working on it.
Well, maybe if those costed lotto ticket numbers would ever come in.
So for what you have, if you keep things managed, is it degenerative, or does it just stay the same?
Well, if you keep it in check and everything going okay, it's everything lead a normal, healthy life. There's nothing really bad about it.
Okay, so it's not... I didn't know if it was degenerative or not, if it changes or if you actually have to do anything to make it different.
No, there's nothing you can really do. It's all it is the... being diabetic is about the inability of your body to either utilize or produce insulin to break down your food.
Okay. I know basically what diabetes is. I just don't know exactly what it does. So it breaks down the insulin in your
So the
food.
insulin in your body, your pancreas produces the insulin. In my case, my pancreas is a dead black organ because it doesn't do anything.
That sounds so goth.
That's how one diabetic described it. And
Wow.
she's pretty right. If you think about it, type 1 diabetic doesn't produce any insulin. As far as we know, maybe the doctors would probably argue with us, but whereas a type 2 diabetic may have insulin, but their body can't use it efficiently.
Okay.
And so, but you need the insulin to break down your food so that it can be utilized for energy, for substance. Whereas if you don't have that insulin, your body's not utilizing the food you're intaking for fuel and energy. It resorts to, I lost 15 pounds. It resorted to lean muscle mass to start breaking that down for energy.
So you look fairly healthy. You don't look like someone I would ever guess was sick, except for you have the tube hanging out. Do you find that people don't necessarily believe you're sick? Do people tend to assume you can do more than you can?
Everybody assumes that you're healthy and everything's normal.
Yeah.
And then, people don't know to... People will assume you're healthy and assume everything's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And not ask the question or, not step back and go, is there anything going on if something doesn't look right or something.
And can that be dangerous for you if someone doesn't, know to ask that question?
Yeah, you could be unconscious.
That's true, but then it definitely looks like something's wrong,
Well, yeah, but, but before that happens, when your blood sugar is going low, you start to lose comprehension and ability to treat it yourself sometimes if it gets too low.
So how do you signal someone?
And so somebody would maybe associate that with being a drunk.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, that sounds dangerous. Especially in college. Well,
yeah.
That...
whereas, say if you're not... If people aren't aware, self-aware of what others may be going through.
So do you have anything, planned as a way to notify people if you got to that space? Pointing to no empty bottles, or...
Well, no, I have my little diabetic bracelet thingy here.
Okay, that's good. Do you have any other life hacks besides the bracelet on ways to handle diabetes? Since you don't use the food tracking apps, do you have anything that you use just to make this easier or more manageable?
I normally just keep food with me. For what?
Yeah.
My problem is it normally goes low.
Okay.
And then it, and that's when you need to have food available.
So do you find you had a lot of support from your parents, or some support from your parents? A lot of support. Do you have a lot of support still from family and...
Yeah, from family and friends.
I mean, your wife is the most capable person I've ever met. She
is, and she probably wishes I'd take better care of myself.
Well, I'm sure she sure seems to like you.
But no, actually, when I first started work, there were a lot of friends that recent college graduates. We all came to work together.
Yeah.
And then everybody was. There was a lot of support there. Everybody was really really wanted to make sure you helped each other.
So, is there anything that scares you about this?
I think I was more scared about, giving it to Sophia or Austin.
Yeah. And how long does it take for that to show up?
You do not know, but it used to be that type 1 was like sort of like an immediate thing.
Yeah.
Whereas in, I guess, maybe my case, it really wasn't.
That's why I'm so surprised you didn't get diagnosed until you're older.
Yeah.
Like, usually it's an early diagnosis.
Yeah.
Have you decided to test the kids, or?
Well, I think you'd know by now.
Yay!
Yeah, but you never know when it's going to happen.
That's true. Was there anything that you had wanted to talk about that I shockingly missed?
I don't know. I don't think you miss much. It just becomes part of your life and just how it is, and it's just sort of, you don't know any different.
That's fair. Like the background noise of it.
Yeah, it's just sort of background.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem is you sort of consider it background and then you don't pay attention to it.
And yours is sneaky. Like,
you just... Yeah, I'm going to have that cookie. Yep, I want that ice cream. That sounds really good.
So what foods do you miss the most, or do you not bother with missing foods?
Because I don't go with not missing foods. I just take more insulin to cover it.
That's very cool. You got the balance down.
But it's also resulted in, an extra 30 pounds here.
No, that's to keep that tubing safe. You have to keep that well packaged. And
That's true. That's true. But no, it's just sort of, with regards to alcohol, straight liquor's better than most beers or even mixed drinks.
Okay, yeah, well, carbohydrates.
Because of the carbohydrates and the sugars.
And there's college students everywhere that are thanking you right now.
Well, that's what I was reading somewhere, and it was sort of like, well, if you're going to drink, go ahead and drink the straight liquor. Because it doesn't have the sugars and the carbohydrates in it.
That's a good point.
And then, your straight beers are fine, but, a lot of the designer beers have a lot of carbohydrates and extras in them. So that, those catch up, too. You wouldn't think about it, but... And then margaritas, those are just really good, but...
Our aunt is very good at making margaritas.
That and Mai Tais, those just don't... Yeah. You gotta make sure you have enough insulin for those.
Or that you stay sober enough to remember the insulin.
Yeah, you gotta do that, too. But no, later on, after I figured out I could drink, college became a little bit easier. Yeah.
College usually becomes easier when you figure out how to drink safely.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Well, but yeah, no, I had groups of friends that knew about it and that they were always concerned. They always got concerned where I was at.
Did you like that, or did that piss you off?
No, I actually liked it.
Yeah?
I got yelled at a few times when they couldn't find me.
Yes.
By a few people. So.
And your sisters, were they part of the yelling crowd?
No, not my sisters.
No?
They weren't as aware.
Unless your sisters don't have anything like this.
Nope.
God, lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me.
Congratulations on winning that lottery. That was the one you wanted to win, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That was the special one to win. But, it's pretty hard, though. It sucks. It sucks a lot some days.
What sucks the most about it?
Well, sometimes you wish you could not have your life being sustained by a AAA battery.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems unfair when you have to rely on something outside of yourself for survival. Mm-hmm. Or to feel better. It's almost unfair that people who get to wake up and just leave the house, they just get to worry about the basic things in the day.
Yeah, whereas in maybe in my case, oh God, I gotta eat. I don't really want to eat.
Yeah, when nutrition actually becomes something that's sustaining you, that means whether you can do your job or whether you can drive a car safely. I have to take handfuls of salt and water. Like, it's so gross to watch me at a restaurant, but I have to pour out like a handful of salt and just down it with water to be able to. Yeah, you're giving me that grossed out look.
Wow, that sucks.
It does not taste good. I call it mermaid disorder. You just drink seawater. It's okay. But
there you go.
To keep my heart rate at a decent level, if my heart rate shoots. Like yesterday, I got 175 standing in line. So that, like, yeah, that's usually the heart rate you get when you're trying to, like, run a 6-minute mile.
Yeah.
But I was standing in line, so I had to, like, grab my salt out of my purse and just pour it in the hand, down it with water.
Wow.
And it's so weird, the things you have to keep in your bag or with you all the time. And I get really jealous of people who are like, oh, yeah, you know, just... Gotta just go. I'll just remember to grab my cell phone, my wallet, and keys, and out the door.
And just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just
you
go
can't
thing.
do that. You gotta plan out your day.
Oh, here's one thing.
You gotta have stuff with you.
So the stuff with you is like some of my medication is illegal in other states, so I can't travel with half of what keeps me moving.
Oh wow.
So how do you deal with, like, because you have to carry your needles with you? Do you have? I
haven't had trouble.
That? No. Okay. That's
I
very
have not
cool.
had trouble. TSA's was pretty easy most of the time.
That is nice.
Even overseas, when I went overseas, there was no issues.
Okay. Oh, I'm so jealous. I like practically got strip searched in like the middle of an airport once. Like, why?
Well, that's because you're taking other drugs.
No, I did not take those. I never fly with those drugs. I take medical marijuana to be able to move. It's like the only way, like, that works with the neuropathy. It's the only thing that will decrease swelling or stop spasming. And no, even when I travel, I will not take it. I'm just too nervous. I'm like, it's we're in the United States where it is legal in California. It is illegal in the United States.
Yep.
So federally, it's illegal. Statewide, it's legal. So if anyone wants to work out that lovely legal debacle, deeply frustrating for those of us who rely on a medication and the opioids is the other thing that's really scaring all of us. You know, people with pain disorders. Are you guys going to make us into drug addicts? Like, our medication's going to be illegal. It's like, no. Sorry, I just closed my own tangent there, but that's been really frustrating to watch, like, my illness get politicized.
Yeah, it's amazing that the lack of understanding, the lack of I don't care. Yeah.
I mean, well, for your disorder, it seems like there's at least some more spokespeople or, you know, people talking about.
I think there is. I thought, you know, you talk to some people, though, and then some people even say, you know, well, that's just diabetes. It's everything's fine with it.
Are you serious? There's people who say that?
There's people that have said that.
No! Did you?
Oh, yeah.
How did you handle that?
Well, I probably thought to myself, fuck you.
See, that's where you're nicer than me. You actually think it and you don't say it.
But, yeah, it was just sort of like...
So is there that perception that, like, hey, it's handled? Like,
yeah, there is a perception out there by some people.
The medical community or just regular idiots?
Regular people, too.
Okay.
Yeah, like, it just... You take your drug and everything's fine, right?
People amaze me sometimes.
Yeah. It's ignorance.
Yeah. Do you feel like you want to, like, correct the ignorance, or do you just, like, let people be assholes?
I'll let people be assholes if it really isn't going to matter to me.
Okay. That's a good way to conserve energy.
There's a lot of people that'll tell that, you know, like at a construction site, we'll go, okay, here's a safety topic, I'm diabetic. Oh. And they go, okay, well, what do we need to do? What do we need to watch out for?
So you do...
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You gotta let the people you work with know.
Sorry, that was just my hip.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Yeah. Okay, so just readjusting. Hip dislocations are fun.
Because it's a safety issue for them.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to picture you. First off, like, you're my cousin. I've known you since, like, we were babies, and trying to imagine you being, like, out on a construction site is just highly amusing to me. But yeah, you'd have to go out there and say, like, if I drop, this is an issue, and
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do most of the people understand, or are they just...
Yeah, most of the people understand, and you know, it's just the people asking, like, the good questions, you know, so what do I need to do? Do I need to call an ambulance? Do I need to do this or do that?
Is that what you want from people?
Yeah, I want them to ask, want them to help before it gets too bad.
At least not step over you.
Yeah. At least not step over me and just kick me to the side of the road, you know?
So what kind of things would they would just be watching out for you, like acting like you were drunk, or like...
Yeah, if you're, just sort of, you just sort of look off, you don't really, having trouble paying attention, having trouble, I think sometimes you get the sweats sometimes. It for me, when it's really low, it just depends. Sometimes I become really lethargic, and I don't know it until I get out of the chair.
What is that like? Is it blood rush or just...
Well, it's just sort of like this complete lack of energy.
Yeah, I know that one.
You really just can't do much. And
does the insulin immediately change that, or does it
the insulin drives that down. What you need is the food to bring it back up.
So once you eat, is that
Well, that takes time.
Yeah.
And then my problem is I'll overeat. So it goes too high.
If a little bit works, so much more should be
so much more should be better. It doesn't work that way, but it sucks.
I think we can agree. Yeah, absolutely.
And then I guess my concern is that if it were ever to go low while you're driving, because one, you could cause an accident.
Yeah. And
then two, if you. Maybe you don't cause an accident, but your, CHP finds you, they can pull your license.
Oh, because I was thinking, like, if you were acting drunk, like, you would get a DUI, or you would have to, like...
No, it's a medical condition. You're a threat to all the other drivers. They could...
That would really change your work life. And...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. It's sort of, you think about it, the kind of, I guess, I can't get a commercial pilot's license, I think, if I ever wanted to do that.
Is that your next lifetime career?
No.
I don't know about 20 years from retirement, so you've got...
it was the, as unfortunate as it was, I think when I had first found out, the military recruiters always call, 18-year-old guys.
Oh, yeah, no, not even just that. My son's school, I just spent the whole afternoon in a Navy recruitment office with my kid because he wanted to talk to them.
Yeah, and so I told him, I'm diabetic. And I go, I'm pretty sure that disqualifies me, and goes,
does it?
It does.
It does?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Like, we found out that ADD disqualifies you from
from
Navy. Like, it doesn't necessarily disqualify you, but you can't take the medication for a year.
No.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That was... Yes, it would be.
But yeah, so...
But did you want that? Did you want to go into military service?
Well, I had tried out... I had applied for ROTC program for the Marine Corps. I wasn't accepted, and it turns out I would have been kicked out anyways. But, it was one of those things that, and then, I think, there's for high-intensity jobs, it takes even that much more management to control and make sure you're under control so that you're not a threat to those that you work with.
It's just amazing to me the things that, like, you have to keep in your head all the time, like the things that you might not be able to do, or the things that you have to consider, like, how's my blood sugar today before I go for an 8-hour drive, or...
Well, yeah. Or for, bike rides, or if you're going to work out for a long time. Or if you're going to do, like, a lot of strenuous activity.
Yeah. That's the big argument we're having right now in my household and with my doctors is I want to bike ride again. I love bike riding. It's the thing that makes me the happiest. And everyone's like, no, you don't get to do that. Because if I don't have someone with me and I pass out.
Yeah. So I used to go on for, I used to go for a, good 50, 60, 70 mile bike ride, and I'd have to turn the pump off and take extra food with me.
Did that work out well, or was that like ill-advised?
It worked out fine, but I don't know if I ever talked about it with my doctors or anyone else.
Maybe that's what I should stop doing, is asking my doctors if I should get something or do something.
But yeah, you need to think about what you're doing. So it's like he's talked about. You can't go out the door and just go and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You need to think about it.
I almost like to, like, hearken it to, like, having a newborn. Like, you will never just leave the house again. Like, you'll have to make sure you have this and this and this and this and this. Except these disorders don't grow up. They don't go off to college. Like, you will always have to make sure you have
to do that.
Yeah, you're always going to have those extra steps.
Yeah. So I think maybe the biggest thing that sort of draws you back is, I can't drop everything and just go do what I want to do.
That's, yeah.
It takes planning. It takes...
Well, here's a question. Now, if you travel overseas, how much planning goes into making sure that you have all of your insulin, or what happens if your insulin isn't there?
Well, when I've gone overseas, I've always made sure I've had enough insulin with me.
Okay.
And taken it all with me.
Does that require refrigeration, or is it
The insulin's supposed to be refrigerated.
So if you're... Well, were you only traveling in, like, European countries? Like, first world?
Well, so I've only gone to really first world.
Okay.
Japan and Europe, so...
I'm always curious, like, if you wanted to go somewhere adventurous.
Not like my sister going out into the Sahara.
Yeah, that's...
where you don't have refrigeration necessarily. I don't know.
I don't know how much of, like, what I've decided I don't want to do is because I don't want to do it, or if it's because I can't do it, so darn it, I don't want to do it anyway.
Well, I would say that you can do whatever you want to do. It just takes... You got to have the mindset. And right now, I don't have the...
Yeah, for you could...
But yeah, there are limitations.
And that's just frustrating, when you get the limitations when you're young, it's like the fence goes in.
Yeah, I think it was the hardest thing getting it, like, when you're young, when you're through high school, or even for yourself, like, middle age,
Did you just call me middle-aged? Because if I'm middle-aged, my friend, so are you.
What, 30 or so? 35?
For how old I am?
No, for when you got
Oh, I was diagnosed when I was in my 30s, but I was diagnosed with the first round of fibromyalgia when I was 19. I was diagnosed with reflex sympathetic dystrophy when I was 16, and I've been in and out of hospital since I was 8.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, no, I've been sick since I was little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they didn't. I'd gone through 5 surgeries before. 5 surgeries? No, 3 surgeries and a few procedures by the time I graduated high school.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was really, really sick when I was a kid, and I was in chronic pain from when I was 8, and it was so frustrating because no one believed it. Like, my parents tried so hard, and they were so awesome, but the doctors kept saying there was nothing wrong, and finally, like, they kept saying she's crazy, which, yes, I am. That's fair. Totally insane. That's all right. But they didn't believe it, and my mom was like a tiger, and we just kept going to doctor after doctor, and they finally did a nuclear test where they shoot you full of, like, this nuclear thing, which I thought was awesome. Like, I wanted a spider to bite me. I really wanted the superpowers. Yeah. So I'm like, this is my opportunity. This is the moment. And the feeling of fucking relief when I saw the screen show up with all the red and orange and yellow, and it's like, I swore to everyone I was not lying. Like, this hurts. And it was just like, it was finally physical proof that there was something wrong. And it was like this deep sigh of relief.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had been going on that long.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, this is not about me, but...
no, but, it's
but
sort of...
It's interesting with, like, the fence that gets put around when you're young, and you don't get to, like, do all these, like, crazy... Like, I wanted to go off for... to another country to study for a year. Yeah. But I had to have surgery. And it was, like, all these things that kept, like, stopping. And now I'm 40. And now all these other people are like, oh, this hurts, I'm in pain, and it's like now their fences are starting to come in. Mm-hmm. And I'm jealous, because I'm like, but you had all these decades before you got fences.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like, you say that, the fence for me showed up at 19, right when you're...
Yeah. Which I almost think is
worse. Which is
worse.
the hugest, it was the biggest bummer in the world. Sort of like, out of school, out of high school, no parents, I'm going to go do whatever I want. Screw you. Here's this nice fence for you to have to deal with.
I think it's actually worse. I was so used to the fence, like 8, like I knew where it all was, but 19, that sucks.
Yeah, so it's a bummer.
That is
it's a massive
That's a
bummer.
nice way to say it. Yes, it's a bummer. All right, so...
But, there's... you read the stories, and there's people that live with it really well, and they do a lot of things. The marathoners, but they're all they're the exception.
Off. Yeah, and it's like my son has shades of this. So, like, he doesn't have this, but he has loose ligaments sometimes. And he was explaining how he's doing things. So I'm like, oh, what, you're doing this better than me? Like, you little adorable 16-year-old.
Yeah.
But, like, there's other people who do this, like, all of this, and I keep forgetting that just because someone has this doesn't mean they have what I'm doing or
exactly.
At my level.
It's all different.
It is, but it pisses me off when they're doing my disease better than I am. I'm too competitive.
Well, everybody's different. It all affects somebody differently.
Yeah, and I almost feel like
it's not the same for everyone either.
No, and there's a whole discussion in the community for fibromyalgia of Lady Gaga coming out with having fibromyalgia. And, like, half of everyone's going, oh, thank God, people will pay attention to it now, and maybe they'll get money into it.
Maybe they'll get a little bit of love.
Maybe, but then, like, a whole bunch of other people are going, but everyone's going to expect us to be able to do what she does. Like...
Oh, yeah, and that's just where it's all different.
Yeah, and, like, for what you have, like, there's different levels, and you're right, there's some people who are very out with having diabetes, and, like, I run 5 miles, and there's no problem, and that seems dangerous, too. And some people, like, people who are athletes or stars have a different access to medical treatments that the rest of us don't have.
Yeah, that or the ability to track things, or the desire. I shouldn't say the ability. I should say the desire, the want.
Yeah.
And the discipline. Because for a diabetic, it really comes down to how much discipline, how much time, how much desire do you have? And then how do you balance that with everything else you're doing?
So I'm going to throw this out here because this might just be my own little projection.
Yeah.
But I get really, like, pushback whenever I feel like someone's like, well, it's kind of your fault because you should have been doing this, this, and this. Is that anything that you get really, like, feel like if you just track
from
it,
the doctors,
better. Yeah?
Yeah, the doctors feel like you should just track it. It should be easy.
Yeah.
I was like, great.
And you're living my life, really?
And, yeah. I should. I admit it, but shit. You can't always do that.
So here's another question, because what you have actually has real treatments and real things that can happen. And with the stuff I have is still like people are almost like, let us wave sage over your stomach and it'll be better. Do you get people who are like saying things to you like, if you just tried this, or my brother's cousin's dog walker has what you have and they tried this medicinal herb and it's all better now? Oh, you're lucky.
No, I haven't gotten that. Yeah, they don't think I haven't heard much of that. No,
I'm seriously jealous right now.
But, if there's an Eastern medicine kind of thing that would work, let me know.
You're all in? Eastern medicine stuff is expensive, may I tell you. I have tried just about every alternative treatment that is out there.
No, I don't get that. It's just if somebody doesn't know, they expect you to be normal and they expect everything to be the same.
How do you manage people's expectations when they're expecting a certain level of things for you? Or do you just let them expect it and just go, yeah, that's nice for you?
Yeah, I probably just let them expect it, and then when something, most of the people I worked with now, because I've been working with them for so long, they know what to expect and know that this is just the way it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's not an expectation.
That's where I feel like there's such a privilege level for having like the full-time job where you are in a position where you can call some of the shots, as opposed to somebody who's like working in retail or where
you don't get that, where you're really subjected to whatever the boss thinks is right.
Yeah, the whims of like whether the boss believes that this is a problem or not.
Yeah,
I think we're very lucky in some respects.
No, it could be worse. And there's a lot of people that have it worse than I do.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and I got to remember that.
Yeah, but there is something to be said for a good foot stamping pity party for a minute or two.
You always have to have the pity party.
And is your wife happy about, or lets you have the pity parties, or do you get smacked?
No, you just let her know, go on a tyrant or go on a just, woe is me kind of thing. And
yeah.
I think she's, learned to accept, sometimes it's got to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it just really has to happen.
It's just, yeah. Yeah, it's just, you got to go do that.
We are closing in on an hour.
Wow.
I'm so much fun to talk to.
Well, it's all because you're such a great host.
I do try. I finally found something. Go. Yes.
There you go.
Is there anything that you want people to know about your day or life, or do you just want to move right on into your favorite swear word?
I don't know if there's... I think I would say just... I think I would just say, to people that have something, don't hide it.
Yeah.
And for people that don't have anything, have a little empathy.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
Don't assume everything's great and dandy. Have a little bit of empathy and try and understand where somebody else is coming from before you levy an opinion.
And I'd also add to that, check in every once in a while, because even if you've got it once, it might have changed.
Yeah, nothing stays the same.
That's some seriously good advice there.
But yeah, I think the lack of empathy from others.
I think that goes across so many issues now.
Exactly. Exactly. A little bit of empathy would go a long ways.
I think that is going to be the big quote that I highlight this with.
There you go.
That is a good one. Very wise. I think it's a family trait, wisdom. So, favorite swear word?
Favorite swear word?
We're
every single one of them.
They're all so expressive. No particular one that just...
probably the... I would have to say, and then for all of our cousins that are listening, God damn it.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then so if Aunt Cindy just heard that, or is going to hear that one, God damn it.
We will close there. I love you. I'm so glad we got to do this. Thank you so much for joining us this week on Invisible Not Broken. Next week, Kyrus will be interviewing a man who has no kidneys. I just listened to this podcast and it blew my mind. It was amazing. So please join us next week. If you can, head over to the site and share some love, give us some good reviews, and please share us with a friend or someone you think might benefit from listening to this podcast. Until next week, be kind, be gentle, and be a badass.